If you want, we can discuss the what Ron DeSantis has signed into law.
Oh my God! Yeah, please.
Let me share this.
He went on an anti-LGBTQ plus bill signing marathon yesterday.
So Alejandra Caraballo tweets out, Ron DeSantis just legalized the kidnapping of trans kids by unaffirming parents. They could take them from safe states to Florida and get emergency jurisdiction for custody.
What?
And this is not like hyperbole. You can read through the piece.
Whoa. Can you scroll down a little bit?
Oh, sorry. I meant to change the tab, actually. But yeah, that's the headline. Let me show you the piece here. So I'll just read this paragraph here. The new law will allow the state to take custody of a child if they have been subjected to or are threatened with being subjected to gender-affirming care, which includes puberty blockers and hormone replacement therapy, which, by the way, has been used for decades. Florida courts could modify custody agreements from a different state if the minor is likely to receive gender-affirming care in that second state. The text refers to gender-affirming care as sex reassignment prescriptions or procedures and qualifies this care as a form of physical harm.
Okay, so you guys remember how I said I was like involved in esports and shit like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a major I work in fighting games. There's a major fighting game tournament. This is like there's a point to the story called CEO. It's called Community Effort Orlando. One of the biggest, events in that state for that medium, and it's going to become bigger this year because of all the money coming into Capcom. And like you have people flying out from all over the world, from Japan, from Pakistan, from New York, from everywhere. People come to Daytona to go to this event. And over the last 2 months, it's been very clear. People have been saying, look, y'all got to move this event because the venue is becoming increasingly dangerous to go to. Even prior to DeSantis, there was shit going on where people would just be in Daytona, and like a friend of mine who's a commentator, just in Daytona, people free passing with a car by, yelling the N-word, throwing shit at like black people and gay people and brown people. Like that shit was happening all the fucking time. And there's been this thing like, hey, it's really dangerous to be in that state. You gotta move. And they're saying like, we can't move. All of us live here. It's very hard for us to move this event. First off, that event's gonna have a lot of fucking, like you're unknowingly fucking your economy as well as endangering trans people there, right? Like it makes no fucking sense. Like Ron DeSantis is throwing this culture war bullshit into his state and fucking not only the culture of his state but the economy of his state by doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on this.
Well, Disney,
because I don't know
that
anybody who would go to this thing because of that now.
Disney just announced they weren't opening up a new. They were supposed to move $2,000 billion from California. Yeah,
$2,000
billion.
Yeah,
California's in a surplus outside of the writer's strike, but like without the writer's strike, we were in a surplus.
In Florida too.
Huh?
Truckers are starting to boycott Florida too.
Really?
That's going to have devastating effects, obviously, to supply lines, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, bro. I don't. Again, like I just don't understand. Growing up, I was always told party of business. This is stupid. This is unbelievably stupid. And that's not even taking into account the amount of people who are trans in Florida and are gonna have to deal with all this horrific shit. Who have to go into hiding about who they are.
It also targets trans adults. Only physicians are allowed to offer gender affirming care, not nurse practitioners. Anyone who violates the law could be charged with a misdemeanor.
And this right here is significant because 80% of gender affirming care in Florida provided to trans adults, it comes from nurse practitioners. So it's going to make it virtually impossible for a lot of trans adults in Florida to get gender affirming care to where they're having to do GoFundMe's to like leave the state. My friend had to do one. Thankfully, she just reached her goal. But on top of that, as of July 1st, there's another law that takes effect that he just signed on that same day, and it's a bathroom bill. And basically what that does is it literally legalizes discrimination against trans people. So like if you're a trans person and you walk into a bathroom and a cis person asks you to leave and you don't leave, then you are criminally trespassing there, and that can go. I think the penalty is like a $4,000 fine and a year in prison. So there's a lot. Also, there's a drag ban, and it's not necessarily an outright ban; it's an indirect ban. So that way, you can strip away the liquor licenses from businesses if they host drag shows. So this has led to pride parades being canceled already. Like what he did yesterday was like a huge. It was a massive step towards just like straight up criminalizing trans existence in the state. And now Texas is even a safer state than Florida. Like literally, that's how bad it's gotten.
Oh, it's been seeming like it is crazy in so many ways how Florida has been basically outdoing even the reddest states you could think of. Like Florida is now, red state #1. Even Texas can't keep up.
Gotta get those polls. Gotta get those polls for that primary.
And that's why we're making it clear to people too. Like, yeah, you should still care about Florida because there's still obviously a whole bunch of great people who are caught in this, and obviously, you know, when it comes to electoral politics, you could still win local races, statewide races, things like that. But on a national level, we got to stop pretending Florida is some sort of battleground purple state. It's gone. It's gone.
I think especially in the last like few cycles, it's been very clear that Florida is not a swing state anymore. And I mean, I think on top of that, like, you know, just also like just the amount of, it's not helping him. He's like drowning in the polls. He's not doing well. Like he's like, it's the most like the whole Disney thing, huh?
That's because they're in a battle of personas. The Republicans are an unserious party now, so it's a battle of they have two battles: battle of bigotry and battle of biggest dick in the room. You know what I mean? Who has the biggest, and that's what it is. And so like DeSantis is doing all this extra wild shit because that's how he was trying to set himself apart. Like, no, I'm the real. You know what I mean? I'm the real bigot. I'm doing real shit. But what happened is Trump came back swinging on foolishness. Trump was like, "Well, I've got drama. Y'all want a drama? Y'all was bored. Y'all needed entertainment. I'm back. I'm back, baby. I got charges." Like,
yeah, he did.
Just went right to the whole groomer thing.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. If you know somebody in Florida who is trans, try to, like, it's unrealistic to tell everyone to leave because that requires, you know, employment, housing, capital. It's so difficult. But like, if you can help a friend or something out of Florida, if you could support a GoFundMe, $5 here and there, like, we can't make a difference on a macro level, but on an individual level, we can try to help because it's very, very scary right now.
It's also wild because like all of you are mentioning that like he's not really good just for Floridians, right? Just for like, you know, their quality of life or doing things for the people. This seems to be a pattern with Republicans right now. Like Ted Cruz right now wants to launch an investigation into Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light, over using Dylan Mulvaney in a promotional, like single promotional post. You want to spend taxpayer dollars on that instead of anything that's going to help the people? It's all random ass distraction.
Ted Cruz is one of the worst people.
Run it back. He wants to do what?
He wants to launch a probe, he called it, into Anheuser-Busch using Dylan Mulvaney, a trans woman, as she didn't even do a campaign, by the way. She didn't do like an ad for Budweiser.
He wants a government investigation into Bud Light over the Dylan Mulvaney thing. Yeah.
Over that single
why?
Single Instagram post.
Social media post. That was it.
It's like they're purely the Republican Party, like what their politics are, what they identify buffoonery, right? Like buffoonery in the name of bigotry. I'm telling you, it's just a game of who can be the most fucking batshit about this bigotry. Like, oh, you think you crazy? You think you'd burn this bridge down? I'll burn it while I'm standing on it. That's just a game of who's the worst. That's what they're doing. Who's crazy? Which is
why let him do this. I mean, you know, I mean, there's nothing in terms of the Ted Cruz stuff and not the DeSantis stuff. I'm not talking policies here. Let them continue with the rhetoric. Let them continue with the bravado. Let them continue focusing on talking about these issues because time and time again, it just happened just this past week on Tuesday when there were all these local elections all over the country. Republicans lost again. Repeating last year with the midterms because they are focused on these issues that most normal people are saying this is ridiculous. This past week, there was local elections, and there was a mayor race in Jacksonville, Florida, that a Democrat won. I saw that in Colorado Springs. I think it was Colorado Springs. The first Democrat won in like 60 years or something like that.
Since 1942 or something like that.
Yeah, it's the mayor race.
My math sucks, even though I'm Indian. I'm sorry, but like, you know.
I mean, these are losing issues for them. They're doing this to bolster themselves within the party because someone like DeSantis wants to be president, but the average American does not care.
And that's facts. And you're absolutely right? But here's the unfortunate part, right? Republicans know they can't win based on popularity because changing tides. That's why they do so much to try to suppress what, we're seeing in the media and what's happening in the schools and stuff, because they're hoping to try to re-unexpose people to shit or whatever. They want to switch the tides, but they know they can't win that way, which is why they gerrymander. That's why they disenfranchise people. That's why they take the court. And unfortunately now the way they have the Supreme Court it really is doomsday for LGBT people. Like, that's just the thing. Like, that's not hyperbole. I don't just mean that like as a regular person. I mean that like as a lawyer, and it's just the truest sense of the facts. Like when Roe got overturned and they made it clear they was coming for Griswold, it was everything that's happened is the direct, result of that. And they're coming, and the problem is when you have a Supreme Court, a body of people with a handful of folk that have lifetime appointments and are there forever, like they have the ability to do real serious damage for a long time. And there are a whole lot of LGBT people like that will be their lifetime. That will be their lifetime. Like whatever happens now.
I do like how Ole said, I don't mean this as a regular person. I mean this as a lawyer.
Are we civilians? Are we all civilians?
I was about to say something. I was like, oh, yo, I just yell into a mic all the day. Never mind, I'll shut up.
No, because I want to be clear. Because sometimes, like, there are things that, like, the culture is outraged about online or whatever. But yeah, I feel you in cultural piece. But I know, like, legally, a whole different set of things.
Yeah.
In terms of LGBT rights, no, it's as bad as it looks and feels. Like online. It's not bad. It's as bad as you think, unfortunately.
That's why, I mean, part of the solution has to be a stronger Democratic Party as well. Because, I mean, Florida's a great example of just a weak-ass Democratic Party. They ran Charlie Crist last time, who's, like, been in every party, lost every election. Like there's got to be some better ground game in these states to fight back against this shit. Because if, we're just sitting here complaining about, like, it's not, there needs to be, I mean, obviously activists are doing what they can, but unless there's stronger political power, it's really hard to get any traction against any of this.